Hey guys, this is Rich from RICHTVLIVE, and I wanted to go live and talk a little bit about the situation with wearing my High Times investor jacket and my shirt today. So Zenabis reports that they have a new non-dilutive funder that's going to be working with them to help them clean up their balance sheet. Stock goes down 7%. Trades about 1 million shares. We know that insiders are selling. We know that there's people probably panic selling as well. We know there's a lot of people buying, thinking there's a buying opportunity, because now there's a top 5 LP in Canada that is trading around $1. So more and more people are going to start buying this stock as they see an opportunity. The question is, when is the selling going to stop? When is Ricky Brar and the insiders going to stop selling the shares in Zenabis? That's one of the questions. Another question is, GMP Securities said that they have a very complicated share structure. So, what is Zenabis going to do to clean up the float? And is this all part of them cleaning up the float? Because what they've done now is they brought in another party to give them $50 million at 14% interest. And they have the ability now to clean out the dilutive, toxic funders that were selling shares into the market, taking the price down. The concern that I have is, what are they going to do about guys like Ricky Brar, the ex-CEO, that has 23 million shares and doesn't have an issue with dumping them? Now, a good solution is have a lot more liquidity. And the stock traded 1 million shares today. So you could imagine if he trades 1 million shares a day, he would technically be able to sell all of his shares in a month. So is that what is happening with Zenabis right now? Are they just trying to liquidate all their insiders at these lower levels? Because if I was Zenabis, I wouldn't want to be buying someone else's shares, the ex-CEO shares, for more than 10 cents on the dollar. So maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they know these guys want to sell. They know that these guys that used to be involved with the company, because they have a new regime now. So maybe they knew the guys that were involved with the company before wanted to sell. Maybe they told them they were going to sell. I don't really know. But I'm starting to think that they knew these guys were going to sell, and they're thinking, okay, well, if you're going to sell, we're going to buy up the shares at the lowest possible price. And that's what we're seeing here on Zenabis. We're seeing consistent selling on the bid. However, there's always a market for someone to pick up those shares. It's just that the shares and the market keeps going down. The shares and the market keep going down. And they keep going down, and they keep going down, and they keep going down. And I think they're going to continue to keep going down until something drastic happens. Now the question is, are they doing this on purpose? Is this part of the strategy? Is this part of the plan by Zenabis? Is it their plan to just buy up these shares cheap because they know that the insiders are selling? They know there's insiders that used to be a part of the company that are now selling, that don't seem to care about the price. So maybe Andrew knows this, and he's saying to them, okay guys, just sell your shares, we'll buy them up. Just keep selling them, and we'll buy them up. Maybe that's what's happening here. There's definitely a game within the game, because at the end of the day, the cannabis sector is at like all-time lows for the last 2 years. And yet, the Dow Jones is going up, the markets are strong, the global markets are strong, gold is going up, Bitcoin's been going up this year, but cannabis stocks, after January, where there was a huge run, and February and March, where we were green as well, we've had 5 months of red in a row. So you have to believe there's a lot of manipulation happening right now. Like a lot of manipulation happening right now, okay? So you have to really start thinking what is really happening right now. The CEO puts out news saying that this is a great thing for Zenabis, and Zenabis is moving in the right direction. Zenabis is going to get to 143,000 kgs by the end of this quarter, which is September. So we're not far away from 143,000 kgs, but Zenabis only produced 2,400 kgs last quarter. So he's saying that they're going to be able to produce 143,000 kgs, but they only produced 2,400 kgs last quarter. So how are you going to jump from 2,400 kgs to 143,000 kgs? And how long is it going to take to jump from 2,400 kgs to 143,000 kgs? This is what I'm starting to think. And we know the revenue growth is moving in the right direction, and I believe that that will continue to. But how long is it going to take? And how low is Zenabis going to go right now? And how many insiders that are holding huge amount of shares, like Ricky Barr that holds over 23 million shares, how many insiders are going to continue to sell at these prices? Are they just planning on selling a little bit? Are they planning on selling all of their shares? So these are the things that I'm thinking about with Zenabis. Now with Tilray exploded today. They went up like 10%. Most of it was done at the end of the day, kind of a sneak attack. It's kind of how I predicted it would be in the summertime. I said we were going to have a red summer, and it would be followed by sneak attacks throughout the summer and followed by a resurrection. Well, it's gone exactly as planned. Did I think Zenabis would go down to $1.25? No, I didn't. Am I surprised? Not really. I'm surprised they're actually a top 5 producer so quickly in 8 months. I like their growth. I think the growth is exponential. And if you look at their share structure, they remind me of Canopy Growth. If you look at their business model, they remind me of Village Farms. And Village Farms was just on Jim Cramer's show, Mad Money, and a lot of people are starting to really look highly at Village Farms. And I think Village Farms has been a giant that we predicted first. So when you look at the plant propagation business, Zenabis did 18 million in sales, and Village Farms is doing a lot of sales in plant propagation. That's why Village Farms and Zenabis are so similar. When you look at Canopy Growth and you look at Zenabis and you look at the Canopy Growth share structure, you'll see a share structure that is very similar to Zenabis. That's why I think Zenabis is a cross between Canopy Growth and Village Farms. And you look at Zenabis's revenue, 25 million in revenue, and you look at Village Farms' revenue, and you look at Canopy Growth's revenue, to be quite honest with you, Zenabis is growing faster than both of those companies did. So the upside for Zenabis is just, in my opinion, it's absolutely enormous. Now, Tilray is doing business in Germany, and they put out news that they just shipped $3.3 million to Germany. That's why Tilray exploded 10% today. In a market in Canada and the United States that is mostly red, Tilray had a monstrous day. Even though Canopy Growth was red, even though everybody else for the most part was red, there's always going to be sneak attacks in a sector that is a growing sector. And Tilray reporting 3.3 million in business in Germany is big news for Tilray. That's why Tilray exploded. Now you're going to ask, why did Zenabis go down? Zenabis is doing a dilutive funding. When you announce that you're raising money and it's going to be at a 14% interest rate, it's a loan. Anytime a company puts out news, especially in this market that's all red, anytime a company puts out news, and the news is actually good news, because it's better than what they had before. Before, they had a $25 million loan that was dilutive, which meant the company could sell shares into the open market. Now, they have an interest-bearing loan of $50 million, which they can pay monthly at 14%, which is around $600,000 a month in interest. So that's why the stock is going down. But the reality is, based on the revenue that they're generating and the profit that they're forecasting for 2020 and beyond, I believe 95 million in 2020 and 400 million in 2021. I don't see how 600,000 a month is going to really be a big hindrance to them. So I believe Zenabis is a company that's moving in the right direction. Similar to Tilray, I believe Tilray is a giant and they are moving in the right direction. But Tilray is different than Zenabis in the sense that they've been around longer than Zenabis. They've got a bigger name and a bigger brand. And the other thing about Tilray is they've got the green light from the DEA. That's huge in America. They are also listed on the NASDAQ, which is also huge in America. So from that perspective, Tilray is different. Tilray is different, and they're going to be a giant. But the difference between Tilray and Zenabis is that Tilray has a very tight float, and they don't got a bunch of people insider selling like Zenabis does. Some of those insiders are the ex-CEO who now no longer feels like he wants to hold on to some of his shares. He's selling his shares. Tilray has insiders that believe that, or maybe they decided, I don't know if they're selling or not, but the reality is they have shares. I don't think they're selling. I think they're still locked up. They had shares that went up as high as $300 because they have a tight float. They have a tight float, which means they have less shares issued outstanding compared to Zenabis. But Zenabis, because they were a plant propagation business that partnered with Sun Farms, Bevo Agro, which was a plant propagation business, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and they still made 18 million last quarter. Partnered with Sun Farms, which was a cannabis company, to create this conglomerate, this giant. So that's why we are where we are. With Zenabis, it has a very complicated share structure. There are insiders that are selling shares. Those insiders might be selling a little bit, or they might be selling all their shares. I don't know. But the management in Zenabis must have a plan in order to ensure that the stock is going to go up, and as shareholders are going to be able to build shareholder value and shareholder equity. Because at the end of the day, it is every CEO's modus operandi to build shareholder equity and create shareholder value. Alfonso says, if insiders were smart, they wouldn't be selling Zenabis shares and stock. I agree with you. But at the end of the day, the thing you have to remember is that they have the right to sell. Nobody has the right to tell you when to buy or sell. How you doing, Sheldon? How you doing, Gail? Gail says, keep wearing that hat. Believe was up today. Yeah, I do have shares in Believe. And I do believe in Believe. And I believe in Zenabis. I believe in Canopy Growth. I believe in Aurora Cannabis. I believe in Afria. I believe that these companies will get bigger, and I believe these companies will get better. I believe in Curaleaf. I believe in TrueLeaf. I believe in Fire. I believe in Fire and Flower. I believe in Village Farms. I believe in Kronos Group. Now the prices are skewed. The prices are skewed because none of these companies are worth what they're trading at. Sheldon says, I believe in BevCanna. I believe in BevCanna as well. They've been a huge winner for our members. This entire sector is skewed because prices have not been trading at real valuations. Okay? Bob says Liberty Health Science is also a good long-term for a U.S. player. Yeah, I don't doubt it. They have a lot of potential. Chris Grant says, Rich, do you see Zena getting pushed down to $1? At this level, maybe. Anything's possible. They're already at $1.25. So to go down another quarter, anything's possible. But I can assure you, if they do go to $1, I'm loading up and I'm buying way more. I promise you that. I'll just keep loading up and keep loading up on this bad boy until their day comes where they explode, and then it's going to be a party. It's going to be a big party because you can only put the thing down for so long, and when their revenue continues to grow, how are you going to be able to justify a $1 share price? Yes, Zena does have 183,000 kgs of extraction. They do plan to get into extraction as well. So this is the thing a lot of people don't understand about Zenabis. They are a fully integrated cannabis and CBD company. They will be doing cannabis sales, they will be doing CBD sales, and they are doing cannabis and CBD sales as we speak. And they will be doing plant propagation sales, which they're doing as well. And they're going to be doing sales in extraction. So stay tuned. Zena's only going to get bigger. Do I believe in CannTrust? I do believe in CannTrust. I do believe CannTrust will get through this. They're just going to have to make a lot of changes in management, in the way they do their business. Denlas says, do you believe in CannTrust? Yes. Sheldon says, does Zena have any plans to extract? I answered that question. Alfonso says, Alexinol Global, you should look into them. Yes, I'm going to look into them. They're another one of the companies. There's so many companies, guys. Chris Grant says, I have been loading up. Big buy yesterday, one day too early. Been cost averaging down all summer. Yeah, you know, nobody knows how low they can go, but this announcement was the last announcement, I believe, as far as them dealing with toxic funding. They announced in the press release that the next line of funding will be bank funding. So I'm excited to see what that bank funding is going to look like, what the interest rate will be at. Right now, the funding is kind of like a private lender, 14% interest, which is kind of high. Once they get interest from a bank, hopefully it's going to be around 6 to 8%. So it'll be under better terms. They'll be able to clean up the entire float. They'll be able to eliminate all the toxic funders. And I think it'll be rocket fuel. And what they're doing by doing this as well is they just keep getting more and more people involved. More and more people are getting involved, and more investors keep buying every day. Mr. Jordan says, glad I bought Tilray dip yesterday. Smart move, man. We were talking about Tilray yesterday, and I was saying, you know, it's definitely close to a buy because at some point it's going to explode. And the last time it went to $33, it jumped back to 46. Now it went down to 29, and right now we just jumped back up to 32. So, you know, it seems as though that's the bottom that's kind of the bottom for Tilray. Found Hilal says, what about C21? Anything good or just forget about it? You know, actually, C21 is one that I've been buying secretly, quietly. I like them long term. I like the revenue, and I think they're going to grow. But like all of these stocks, man, they've been beat up. Sheldon Snow says, no real further details, just that 3 people have departed. Yeah, I mean, these companies are going to go through ups and downs. They're going to go through changes. They're going to go through structuring changes. They're going to go through management changes. At the end of the day, I feel like CannTrust, they made some big mistakes, and they're going to have to pay for them, but they're going to overcome it. One way or another, they will overcome it, because I've seen all these companies overcome their problems throughout the process over the last 2 years. And at some point, CannTrust will be a buying opportunity. I said that if they go to $1, I'll load up. So I'll buy 10,000 shares if they go to $1. I'll invest 10 grand. I'm a risky guy. I'll invest 10 grand at $1. I got no problem doing that. So that's what I think about CannTrust. That's my opinion on CannTrust. So I just wanted to share you guys some of the news about Tilray and Zenabis and what's going on with Zenabis. I think Zenabis is going to go way higher. It might go down first before it goes up. I did tell you guys they needed to raise $75 million to be able to get their facilities fully operational. They have now raised 90 million, 30 million from Tilray, 10 million from another party, and 50 million now from another financier at a 14% interest rate. They now have $19 million to do all the business they need to do. And I believe Zenabis is going to be a giant. That's why I have 26,000 shares and I'm going to be buying more. I'm also buying the warrants. So I will let you know, I have 1,000 warrants and I got 25,000 of the shares. I will let you know when I buy more warrants and I buy any more stock. I haven't sold any stock. I'm just holding, waiting for the resurrection, and I believe it's coming really, really soon. Every single day we're getting closer. Sheldon Snow says, departed, quit, or fired. I am bag holding at $5 on CanTrust. Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can do on CanTrust is you can buy more to lower your cost, or you can wait. Gail says, what cannabis company do you think will be like Amazon? I think any of the top companies have that chance. I think Zenabis has that chance. I think Cannabis Growth has that chance. I think Afria has the chance. I think Aurora has the chance. I think TrueLeaf has that chance. I think C-Web has the chance. I think a lot of companies have that chance. All the top ones right now, because it's so early in the game. It's all about quality. As we get bigger in this game, it's gonna all be about quality. It's gonna be about the quality of the weed. It's gonna be about the quality of the CBDs, and then it's gonna be about the pricing. So as we get more competitive and we get bigger players out here, it's all gonna be about quality and pricing. Sheldon Snow says you should do a video on warts and explain benefits. Yeah, I can do that. And negatives. I could do that. So I believe that we're still in the early days of this cannabis sector. This cannabis sector will only get bigger. It will only get better. I am a high times investor. I am a long-term investor. I invest in companies long-term. I also day trade and I momentum trade. Right now the momentum is down. I'm not a short trader. If I was a short trader, I'd be shorting everything down. I do believe that the momentum will turn. We are at 52-week lows, and we're pretty much at 52-week lows for the last 2 years. So in my opinion, I believe that the market goes back up, and I'm going to be here and I'm going to pull up every single day whether the market goes up or down. Right now the market is down overall, and it's pushing a lot of companies and insiders to sell, and I think that's what we're seeing. There's no liquidity. There's no market makers on the box. There's nobody supporting the stocks, and insiders are selling. And companies are changing their management, and companies have new management coming in. So the old management is selling. And because the old management is selling, and they don't care about the price because they got so many millions of shares, they're taking the price down, which is creating a buying opportunity. This buying opportunity, for those that are willing to stomach it and be able to take advantage of it, is going to be let's just put this way. This buying opportunity is a blessing dressed in blood. And I know it's hard to believe, but it's true that the best time to buy is at the bottom when everything is in the deep red and everything is beaten and when everybody's crying, that's when we should be buying. When everybody has fear in the streets, that's when you buy. When housing is down, that's when you buy. When stocks are down, that's when you buy, okay? So Zenabis is a top 5 revenue generating producer in Canada, and their revenues will continue to grow. Tilray will be a giant. Yeah, they were pumped up to $300, and now they're down to $30 range. So there's a lot of manipulation in these markets, guys, okay? These markets are highly manipulated. A lot of stocks are highly oversold. A lot of stocks are highly overvalued. You know, how do you explain IIPR trading over $100? How do you explain GW Pharma? How do you explain Tilray? How do you explain Canopy Growth? How do you explain Kronos Group? How do you explain Village Farms? All the companies with the tightest floats are trading at the highest prices. That's how you explain it. You cannot justify it based on their EPS, their earnings per share, because very few companies have earnings per share. And TrueLeave has just recently turned record revenue for them and profit, EBITDA, earnings per share, EPS. And yet they've been going down. Everybody keeps saying, Rich, why is TrueLeave going down? I keep saying the same thing. It's a buying opportunity. But everyone keeps saying, why are they going down? They've got insiders that are selling. They got insiders that are selling. Recon says Zenabis will bounce back hard. Recon Legend says Zenabis will bounce back hard, only a matter of time. I agree 100%. Sheldon says, how do we get some of the hats, Rich? I get these hats at the cannabis conferences. I just walk around and I just grab them. They're free. I tell everyone that I'm Rich TV Live and I'd like to wear your hat on my show, and everyone just gives them to me. You guys should say the same thing. Say, hey, I'm a part of the Rich TV Live community, and I'd love to have a hat and support your company and make videos. And they'll give you a hat. Because the Rich TV Live community and this Rich TV Live revolution is real. No conferences in the Northwest Territories. Yeah, you got to come down to BC, bro. Or you got to go down to Toronto. That's where they do all the conferences, and they do a lot of them in the US too. San Francisco, Las Vegas, New York, Florida, Cali is where they hold most of the conferences. Miami. And in Canada, they've been holding them in Toronto and in Vancouver. So Lyft, go to look at Lyft & Co. Lyft & Co. holds conferences. That's all they do. I've given you guys views of my 5-acre land. You guys see it all the time when I live stream from my backyard. This is one of the lakes here in Vancouver that I like to stream from. I got literally this entire lake to myself. I'm under the gazebo, or I would show you guys the lake. But there's literally a lake right there. Can't really see it. I don't know if you guys can see the water, but I don't really want to get wet. But yeah, I'm at a lake right now. I'm at a lake right now. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's water right there. You guys see it? Yeah, I love the water. Recon Legend says Zena management has done nothing but execute. They're just caught in a funk. Well, they've got a lot of insiders that are selling, dumping shares. And yeah, the cannabis sector's down for sure. But they got insiders dumping shares when the entire market is down. So it's a recipe for disaster. You live 1,000 kilometers above Yellowknife. Wow. You're brave, bro. Man, I bet you it gets a hella cold out there. I don't know if I can handle that. But yeah, man, this cannabis sector is a trip. Man, there's going to be ups and downs, but I always say, just keep believing, man. Keep believing in your dreams. Rome wasn't built in a day, and stocks are going to go up and down, but this is a new sector, and a lot of these stocks are overvalued. They're not trading on real fundamentals. They trade on hype. There's a lot of retail investors and a lot of cannabis enthusiasts like me that are just believe in these companies, and they invest in the companies, and we hold these stocks. And that's why these stocks go up and down with a lot of volatility. But one thing I've noticed about Zenabis, it's becoming way more liquid. People are buying more shares. People are learning about the company more and more. It's trading like 1 million shares a day now. So as you see the stock starting to trade more and more, and you see more and more people feeling like this is a company that's undervalued, underappreciated, and underexposed, you will see more and more people start buying the stock. And as more and more people start buying the stock, what happens is all these guys that are selling, eventually their stock is gone. So eventually when all that stock is gone and it's in friendly hands and hands of people that believe that this stock is going to go up and they want to hold it, well then guess what? Eventually all that buying that comes in, it starts taking the price up. And instead of these guys with their market makers selling stock into the market, you're going to see buying come in, and you're not going to see insiders dumping shares, and that's when you're going to see the stock go up. Thank you guys for the 9 likes. Let's see if we can get to 10. We got 25 people watching. This is your boy Rich from Rich TV Live. I've been doing this for 2.5 years. I've seen ups and downs with every single one of these companies. I remember when people were saying that Canopy Growth was spending too much money, and they went from $5 to 17, and then they went back down to 7, 8, 9 range. Then everybody said, oh yeah, Canopy's the best thing since sliced bread. Then they went back up all the way to $70, and now they're back down to $35. And now everybody's trying to say that they're spending too much money now again. It's just a cycle, guys. Haven't you seen this cycle? Like, there's no need to panic. This is a cycle, and when things are down, everybody puts out all the negative news. And then when things are good, everybody talks about all the positives. That's the way the sector goes. And it's never going to change. It's going to be highly volatile. It's going to be highly risky. And that's why I love it. That's why I choose to invest in this sector. Absolutely love it. Sheldon says, wait till September when everyone gets back to work. Yeah, man. And we know what's going to happen then. We're going to have rocket fuel and everything's going to explode. Kathy Martin says, everybody wants to look like a genius. You know what? I just want to win. I don't want to look like a genius. I just want to win. And I want you guys to win. Only thing that matters to me is that I win and my community wins. That's it. And in looking for long-term winners, you got to look for certain clues. And to me, Zena checks all the boxes. So I like everything I see. I don't like the insiders dumping shares. But at the end of the day, I'm going to teach you guys a secret. Because I've had a lot of brokers, okay? If the stocks are down, then the talking heads talk about the negatives. Of course. So let's say I'm an investor and I got shares. I'm Ricky Breyer and I got 25 million shares and I want to dump my shares, okay? I tell my broker I'm going to dump my shares. My broker knows I want to dump my shares. What do you think the broker does? Do you guys know anything about the stock market? How the market makers work? So I tell my broker, hey, I got 25 million shares. I want to sell them all. Broker says, okay. What do you think the broker does? He knows you want to sell 25 million shares. What do you think he does? What do you think he does? I want to know if you guys know the markets. If you know the way this game is played. Because this is a game and it's played a certain way. And now that I know that there's insider selling, I know that it's going to go lower. Because the market maker, what they do is they short the stock. Because they know that they're holding 25 million shares. So what they do is all market makers have offshore accounts that they work with that are not affiliated third parties. And what they do from there is they say, hey buddy, guess what? I'm holding 25 million shares from this guy, and 25 million shares from that guy, and 25 million shares from that guy, and they all want to sell. So guess what they do? Okay, great. Let's short it. And why would they short it? Because they know those guys are going to sell. So if you know that those guys are going to sell, you're going to short it because you've got millions and millions of shares on your desk, and you know that those stocks are going to go down because those guys are eager to sell. So you tell your buddies offshore, hey, can you short the stock? Because guess what? I got a bunch of shares, and this bad boy's going down because I'm going to be selling. And this guy's eager to sell. And they pre-short the stock. This actually happens. I know it's dirty. I know you're like, oh, that's dirty. I can't believe it. You know, how can people actually do that? I'm telling you, that's what happens. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So as far as I'm concerned, until Ricky Breyer stops selling and insiders that are holding, like, he had 25 million shares. He had 10% of the company's float. He had 10% of the entire float of the company. So of course he could take this entire thing down himself. He probably is. So the market makers know he's going to sell the stock. They short in advance. Stock goes down. Creates panic. More people start selling. Then Ricky Breyer starts calling up the broker and he's like, man, I don't know if I should sell. It just keeps going down. And the broker's like, why? Let's just keep selling it, man. You got 25 million bucks. You don't want it? Ricky says, okay, yeah, just keep selling. At any price? Any price. Okay, good. Then he calls up his buddy offshore. Hey, this guy's eager to sell. He doesn't care. He told me I could sell it at any price. Okay, great. Click. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to short some more. Creates a vicious cycle. Eventually, Ricky Barr's stock is going to be gone. And then what's going to happen? These guys won't be shorting anymore. They'll be covering. And then you're going to see the stock explode back up like a boomerang, like a elastic band. And you're going to see the stock skyrocket back up to $2. Mark my words. Mark my words. Because as soon as it started going down, I had to figure out why. Once I figured out it was insider selling, I needed to know why. Once I figured out they were no longer part of the company, I knew exactly why at that point. They're no longer part of the company. They got no loyalty to the company. So they'll just sell it at any price. Their broker knows this. He's going to call up his buddy that he's not affiliated to and get him to short the stock. And that's why the stock's going down. Where does it stop? I have no idea. But at some point it will. Most likely when Ricky Barr finishes selling. Maybe he just wanted to sell $1 million worth or a couple $1 million worth and just, invest in his new cannabis startup. And maybe he plans to hold the rest. I don't know. But the reality is it is creating a great buying opportunity for a company that is a top 5 producer in Canada and will continue to grow and get bigger and better every single quarter. Hopefully I've explained a few things to you guys. Hopefully you've learned something from this video. Hopefully you like this video. If you do like this video, smash the like button, comment down below, and share the video anywhere and everywhere. This is Rich from RICHTVLIVE. If you're not winning, you're not watching, we bring you the winners and analyze them for you. We break it down and we try to do it first. We bring you Zena before it explodes. I don't want to bring you a stock that's up like thousands of percent like everybody else did when they were talking about Aurora. After I brought you guys Aurora at $2 and Aurora went to 15 and everybody was telling you to buy Aurora. Yeah, I don't want that. I want to talk to you guys about a stock before it explodes. Zena's that stock. Well, Zena's one of many stocks that I'm going to talk to you guys about before they explode. So stay tuned. This is your boy Rich from RICHTVLIVE. You got to believe to achieve. Think like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett thinks 20 years from now. Where will Zena be in 20 years? Think about it. All I'm saying is think about it. All right, people, I'm out. Peace. And believe. Continue to believe. You have to believe to achieve. It's true.